Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe. Today's video is regarding the new images that were released by the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. I think there's more of them out there. I'm trying to get my hands on them through the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. The images, to me, though, a lot of people are saying that they're giving various reasons why he's taking the pictures, and they make it seem like that's just normal. He's taking these normal selfies and so forth. But for me, I think what he's doing in a lot of the images is he's practicing to see what he looks like, because he observes behavior in other people that he doesn't have naturally, so has to train himself to look a certain way to fit into society. So recently, two experts have been on various news outlets, and this one in particular, they mentioned that on Brian Kohberger's PC, these two experts are in Celebrite, the cell phone analysis software that's out there. They said that on his PC, psychopath was a normal word that he typed into a browser, said Heather Barnhart, senior director of the forensic research at Celebrite. But he could have said it was for his major or research. So he could have came up with an excuse, something like that. However, on other occasions, this is another time that he did a search on his Google. It said, in late September, records from the criminology student's phone and in possession of law enforcement included an internet search for sociopathic traits in college student. And the following month, there was a search for pornography containing keywords drugged and sleeping. And he didn't have to take care of that. People were partying that night. Xander Canodal, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez had all been drinking heavily all during the day. And most of them were sleeping. Xander Canodal appears to be the only one that may have been moving around at the time. All right, and then he said, 5 days later, another online search, can psychopaths behave pro-socially? And see, that's the comment that made me think that these images that are out there are actually Kohberger, the selfies that he took, him practicing, trying to see if he appears to look normal. I'm not saying every one of them is that, but I think a lot of them are. The ones where he's looking at his butt crack and with the jeans in there. I mean, we don't know what the hell that is, but the face he's making is the same face we all made when looking at that image. So we all think of Kohberger like this. Every single court hearing he'd been in, every single time we ever saw him, he has no personality, he makes no faces, he does absolutely nothing. He just is there, I mean, this is really unusual for him, just parsing his lips. The cameraman probably, just snapped it when he had his mouth like that. But he's just absolutely a blank canvas. You just look at him and he just stares blankly into oblivion. I mean, when Olivia Gonzalez laid into him appropriately, exactly the way she did it, he made sort of some faces, but he really just kind of sat there and stared blankly like he is, because he doesn't have natural feelings. He's a psychopath. And I'm not an expert in all this stuff, but I think he's a psychopath that may be autistic. And that actually exists. It's rare, but there's autistic people that can be psychopaths, and I'm wondering if that's exactly who he is. I don't know. There's people that probably know better. A lot of people call him a narcissist, but there's overlapping traits from narcissist to psychopath. So perhaps the portion that you're observing that you think is a narcissist is actually a psychopath. We don't know. So here's some pictures right here. What is he thinking? He's looking good in these pictures. I mean, what is this face he's making right here? I don't know if he's trying to like flex all over the place. A very strange looking picture. But it did remind me of this. Now I'm wondering if he was trying to imitate Gollum here, because it has a very similar look. If you take a look at that, you've got Gollum and the same sort of sinewy muscle patterns there, the same sort of blank look on his face in other photos. In this one, he's making a sort of a a grunting face. I'm just joking around with these images here, to be honest with you. But see this right here? I mean, that's Kohberger again. But again, his face is sort of plain. He's got the, he's saluting. I mean, what is he doing here? Is he practicing, trying to look a certain way? I put this one in here too. I thought it was pretty funny. I thought this one looked similar to that. I'm wondering if he was trying to be Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men at the end. You want me on that wall? I mean, who the hell knows? But in this one, he looks like an absolute monster. Maybe he realized that's how people will picture him in the future and wanted to practice that look. Now, these are really blurry. I'm sure there's a clearer version of those. So let's take a look at this right here. Do psychopaths practice behavior to appear normal? Yes. Psychopaths practice and mimic behaviors to appear normal and conceal their true nature. This behavior, often referred to as wearing a mask of sanity, allows them to navigate social situations undetected and manipulate others for personal gain. The mask of sanity. A psychopath's mask is a carefully constructed persona built to hide their lack of empathy and remorse. It is formed through intentional observation and mimicry of how others behave in social situations. And isn't that amazing? Because that matches like this perfectly. Can psychopaths behave pro-socially? All right? And so he's looking that stuff up and he's realizing, okay, he's just got to imitate other people. It says right here, superficial charm. Psychopaths can be friendly, charismatic, and engaging to draw others in and gain trust. So what's weird about Kohberger is maybe if he does have autism and he's a psychopath, he might have a difficult time pulling off this portion of it. Being friendly, charismatic, and engaging. Mimicked emotions. Since they do not genuinely feel empathy or deep emotions, they learn to fake them. Now, we've read recently that in some of these other interviews that the friends never saw him act empathetic to anyone the entire time he was there. They can mimic crying at a sad movie or acting joyous. Remember when he laughed at the appropriate time when he was pulled over by the law enforcement? I think it was in August, like August 21st or so, he's pulled over. He did that one little chuckle in there. They can mimic crying at a sad movie or acting joyous at good news by observing others, though the emotional responses are often short-lived and may appear unauthentic upon closer inspection. And I don't know if you guys watch my channel, but there's a character we have on there called Mary Lou, and sometimes Mary Lou will cry and cry and cry, and as soon as you ask her about it, her voice sounds totally normal. And so what I'm saying is I think it's similar here, is that Kohberger, you'll see him laugh, and then almost instantaneously his face is back to blank because the laughing wasn't real. A normal person would laugh and the smile would sort of fade after, like you'd laugh and laugh and laugh, and then it would sort of, maybe slower chuckles, and it would sort of fade away, and then you'd move into a different emotional state as you're talking. People like Kohberger, they'll be laughing, and then boom, on a dime, they go back to the face that they had right before the laugh, as if it was absolutely not genuine at all. And that's why it's saying right here, they can mimic crying at a sad movie or acting joyous at good news by observing others, though the emotional response are often short-lived and may appear unauthentic upon closer inspection. Adaptable persona. The mask is highly fluid, and psychopaths will adjust their personality to fit the situation or person they are with. Concealed motives. Their charm and apparent normalcy are tools for manipulation with a hidden agenda to exploit others for resources, status, or power. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to pull this part off because of other underlying issues. Maybe that's where the autism comes in. Why psychopaths wear masks? Psychopaths engage in this practice for several self-serving reasons. Avoid negative consequences. They realize that their true nature, which includes behaviors like manipulation, lying, and a lack of remorse, is socially unacceptable and will lead to being ostracized. By wearing the mask, they avoid negative social consequences. They also want to blend into society. The mask helps them blend in seamlessly with others and get what they want. Many psychopaths are highly intelligent and function successfully in careers and personal relationships without those around them ever suspecting their true nature. The mask eventually slips. While many psychopaths are highly skilled at maintaining their facade, the mask is not permanent. It can slip, especially as they become more comfortable in a relationship or when faced with unexpected stress. So maybe at work, at first people perceived him a certain way, and then he got too comfortable, and then his real self came in. When it falls away, victims may see the psychopath's cold, callous, and manipulative nature for the first time. I think that just absolutely matches Kohberger perfectly. And I think in these images here, these here, he might be trying to sort of revisit one of the other serial killers like Bundy or any of them and try to see what he might look like in these images. See if he feels like he looks like what he perceives them. And then look at this one here. This is what I got to look like. Okay, this is what I look like when I'm trying to look interested or sort of, I'm thinking about something. I don't know. Why would you take these pictures? They were just for himself. He didn't share them to anyone. So I think he's taking these pictures and he's looking at himself to see if that's what he should look like during a certain situation. So he probably, in his mind, has these little categories like, okay, look interested or surprised. Okay, how about this one? Oh, maybe not that one. How about this one? Oh, yeah, okay. And then he calls back to that when he's in those situations. So look, they're totally different, right? This one's sort of like interested, sort of, pensive look. And this one's more serious. And then here's him smiling. Does this look normal smiling? He's trying to figure out. Is this smiling? Okay, that's what he's doing here. What else is he smiling about? This is in the same bathroom, by the way, that the selfie that he took at 10:30 a.m. on the morning of the homicides was taken. It's just a little different angle. The camera's off to his left in the image here and facing more to the left as well. So there he is. Very bushy eyebrows, by the way, at that time. This one looks like what he always looks like, a blank stare. Maybe this was his baseline image. Okay, this is what I look like when I'm just a complete nut job doing absolutely nothing. All right, I don't know if he thinks he looks really cool and tactical with these earbuds in. Who the hell knows? And now he wants to see what he looks like from that angle. Look how cool and tactical I look here. But again, he has the same blank stare. He forgot to incorporate a look that means something. Now here he is. Now it's one of his other looks. Look at me, you guys. I'm sensitive. I'm sure he looks really dreamy to some of the female Kohbergers out there. He's looking into the camera. He's got a certain look, and and he's trying to find looks that would be appropriate for him to post online and have a different perception of himself. Now this image here I thought was really interesting because the very first thing that I thought of was Elliot Rodger. Now if you guys remember, Elliot Rodger is somebody that he studied about. And look at this video right here.
Hi.
See that lighting on there? That's exactly what it feels like. That's what he was trying to achieve.
Elliot Rodger.
And by the way, this is Elliot Rodger's final video before he went out and killed multiple people. So it almost seems like it's an homage to that image.
Well,
if you notice, Elliot Rodger is very similar. He doesn't make any faces, but he talks about feeling a certain way. But his body does not portray that he's feeling that way. His face. He just has a look on his face. He just says certain things.
This is my last video. It all has to come to this. Tomorrow, is the day of retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you. For the last 8 years of my life, ever since I've hit puberty, I've been forced to endure an existence of loneliness, rejection, and unfulfilled desires, all because girls have never been attracted to me.
Yeah. So when you look at that picture there, it has that similar feel, that red light looking in there. Maybe that was an homage to Elliot Rodger. Looks like he might be sweating in this picture too. I don't really know. I mean, it's really shiny right there. All right, so let's go on to the next one. And we've all seen this one. Now, on my show, we've been debating. I couldn't tell if it was a Band-Aid or a ring. Some people were certain it was a Band-Aid without any evidence at all pointing to it being a Band-Aid, but I think it might very well be a Band-Aid at this point. Because when you look in there, your ring finger that you have a ring on can't appear like that. When you bend your knuckles, it goes towards the end there, but not quite as far as that. And also this clear image here, it doesn't look as rounded, and there's nothing shiny on it like it appeared in another image that I saw. And because of that image right here, so again, not quite as rounded, Band-Aid right there. And this one, apparently this was taken after the homicides. That same finger appears to have a scab on the knuckle there. And so it's probably likely that there was a Band-Aid over there. Now, there is no significance that we can get from that. We don't know if that's from the homicides. We don't know where that's from. Apparently he boxed. There's no blood that was found at the crime scene, so we can't speculate and say, oh, he must have done that at the crime scene. We can, but there'd be no evidence to back that up continually. So yes, he does appear to have a Band-Aid on that same finger, the ring finger on his left hand at 10:30 in the morning when he took the selfie before heading down to, just after getting back, by the way, from Moscow, Idaho, and before heading down to Clarkston, Lewiston, and Clarkston, Washington, actually. So, when did he put that Band-Aid on? We don't know. There's a gap in there. Usually Band-Aids are tight, but I guess on a knuckle, bending your finger, you might loosen it up a little bit. But it does appear there's some sort of a wound on the end of that knuckle based on this picture right here. So I would say that the people who thought that was a Band-Aid were correct. And if you thought it was 100% a Band-Aid at the time, you ended up being correct. If you thought it was 100% a ring at the time, you ended up being wrong. I wasn't sure what it was. I thought it was either a ring or it could be a Band-Aid until we get a better image, and we finally got a better image. But this image here actually pretty much proves that that was a Band-Aid. All right, so here we go. So here is Kohberger again. Now, I think this image is at this ridge over here. And it's called Kamiak Butte. I think it was mentioned in some of the documentaries that people would hike there, and Kohberger said he would go there. It just feels like this picture is up here somewhere. And, just kind of looking at the ground and the coloring and stuff like that up above here, it just seems like that image is here. If I had a wider shot, I could probably figure it out, but it seems like miraculously, every time I look at it, things are blocked off. But down there is sort of the valley, then up here is on that ridge. Definitely feels like that's where he is. That's the same picture. Let's move on to the next one. And here he is in the bathroom trying to look not quite as blank as he normally does. But he's still blank, I mean, that's the thing. And he's got his little creepy tactical earbuds on again. And there's that picture again. And here, sort of interesting seeing that he has a lot of pictures where he has that same drone look on his face, but he's wearing different things, thinking that will help, but it's really kind of about his face. I mean, look at this one, just very plain face again. This one looking menacingly right into the camera, basically, with those same doofy tactical earbuds in. Gray, those aren't tactical earbuds. My grandmother has a pair of those. Well, I'm sorry your grandma has a pair of those. Anyways, so this could be up there too, on another side of that same ridge. Don't know, but see, now he's trying to, look, everybody, this is what I should look like when I'm smiling. I guarantee you, after he smiled right here, the moment he stopped taking that picture, his face was blank as hell. All right, now I know a lot of people do that. There's, like cheerleaders are really good at smiling, and you see them smile, and it looks so real, and then as soon as the cheers are over, boom, it stops on a dime. So, but in his case, he can't help himself because the smiles aren't real at all. But when people do smile, I mean, you see politicians do that too, right? They walk up to a camera, they give that little quick smile and a picture, and then boom, their face is completely blank again, right? I've never been able to do the fake smiles. It's either natural or it isn't. When you go into Costco or the DMV and they say, "Hey, smile for me," I'm like, well, there's nothing to smile. What are we smiling about? Tell me a joke. Do something. All right, then let's see. We got this one. He wants to look really adventurous. Looking back, what was it that he had just crossed over? I mean, by the way, what is this picture here? I mean, is he like literally? It looks like maybe the Cascades at the top of some sort of a mountain somewhere. Don't know. But he's really high altitude. I mean, those are clouds right there. I wonder if it's even real. Is it like an overlay on top of like a matted image? Then we got this picture here. He's not really giving away his locations very well. Yeah, so I don't know if it would be simple to find this. I think I could maybe find the mountain, but finding where this ridge is might be a little difficult. But you can just kind of rotate around, and sometimes when camera, different lenses are used, that mountain could be 80 miles away if it's like a telephoto lens. I mean, it's hard to say. And there's the other picture where he's just kind of, not giving away a location. Looks like it's pretty close to after getting a haircut. And just kind of looking up at a tree. And this one here, it appears maybe more like up in the Seattle area. But I don't know. I'm not really sure what this is. It looks like ocean water there. Or, it could be a lake that's really windy, but it kind of just feels like it's on the coast. And there he is smiling, trying to just look like a normal, natural person. But let me know in the comments what you think. Don't you think that that's kind of what he's doing? Since he's not sending these selfie images to anybody, don't you feel like he is just trying to practice how to look in certain situations? Most people just act naturally and look correctly how they should look during a certain situation. Kohberger doesn't know how to do that. So he has to practice and then file away what look he thought was appropriate and try to display that. I'd love to hear how people, if they ever saw him laugh, and then after he laughed, how quickly did his face shift back to normal? Okay, like a blank look again. It'd be pretty interesting. But anyways, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you found this video interesting. Please hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.